Hello everyone, it's Brittany, and today I am going to be making a video about stupid injuries I've received. One in specific, because it'll probably take a little while. So this was actually a couple years ago, and I was at kind of like this public swimming place or whatever. Like there was like a couple slides and everything, and then there was two diving boards. But by the diving boards, there was like this 15-foot swimming pool that so you can like dive and like you can do all these stupid fancy flips and stuff. And I decided to try back diving for the very first time. I didn't know how, and well, it was probably the worst first attempt ever. So, what happens with the back dive, you're supposed to stand at the edge of the diving board with your back to the water. And I was standing there, like the heels of my feet were literally off of the diving board. And so I'm standing there, and my mom said, all you have to do is just kind of like lean back and everything, and like slowly like arch your back. And I had like my arms up how you're supposed to have it and everything. And so I'm arching my back and I'm like tilting myself backwards and I'm going down. I'm kind of nervous because it's my first try. And finally, my feet leave the diving board, and I ended up literally flipping all the way around and then coming right back up to hit the bottom of the diving board with the top of my head. Like, yeah, the scar's right here. So it's like literally top of my head. So somehow, when I'm supposed to, literally, I'm going away from the diving board and down, and somehow I end up coming towards the diving board and up. I'm, I literally like defied gravity there because there's no way that I can consciously think of that I managed to do that. Yet obviously I did, and I don't understand how this happened. Anyways, so I hit my head, and I'm down in the water, and I go down under the water, and I come back up, and it's like, ow, that kind of hurts, but I don't touch it or anything. I'm just like, whatever, it's probably nothing, and if it's bleeding, I don't want to see it. And then, so instead of like putting my head back under the water, I'm just sitting there like doggy paddling back to the side of the pool so I can get out. So I finally get out, and I step away from the pool, and I just kind of gently set my hand in my head, kind of like this, and then I take my hand back up. It's covered in blood. It's like it wasn't really bleeding before, but then the second I put my hand onto it, it's just the blood started. And for those of you who don't know, head wounds bleed so much. So I'm sitting here like, fuck. Then I'm just like, okay, gotta calm down. Obviously, I wasn't unconscious at any point during this, so I'm just like, okay, so it can't be too bad. Then all of a sudden, my mom comes like hurrying over to me because you're not allowed to run, whatever. And my sister's there as well, and my sister's just sitting like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So she's like panicking and everything. My mom's just like, trying to be cool and calm and everything, like, no, honey, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Trying not to panic. And I'm just there like, okay, so now that I've calmed down after the initial shock of blood covering my hand, um, I'm suddenly surrounded by like a bunch of like lifeguards and like emergency people, and they tell me to like kind of like sit down and everything, and that the ambulance would be here soon. Um, and because it's a head injury and everything, and it's like it could have like damaged my neck. I had to not only have a neck brace when the ER came, but I also had to be strapped down onto like the little like carrying thing. Like I couldn't walk on my own. They didn't let me. And then just like, okay, you gotta try not to move as much as possible. And when they put it on me, like I was standing up and they strapped the board to my back. And this is like the biggest, like it was like a trust fall. I'm not even joking. And there was like somebody like on like every side or whatever, and like they tilted me backwards on this board. I'm like, I'm strapped to this board. I have no control over what happens if I fall. I'm like, oh my god. But finally I'm in like this horizontal to the ground. I think it's horizontal. Yeah, it's horizontal. And then I'm being carried into the ambulance. My mom and my sister aren't with me because my mom wants to drive us to the hospital, or wants to drive my sister to the hospital, not us. So that when everything's done with me, like she can drive us home. And doctor comes in and tells me I have to have staples put in my head. Staples. I'm just like, what? I've heard of having like stitches, obviously, and then like instead of stitches, there's also like you can get like tape, which I had when I was 5, but that's a different story. Um, but no, I'd never heard of staples being put over your head. So, and he said before they could actually put the staples in, they said, okay, we're gonna numb you so that like I wouldn't feel any pain from the staples literally pushing it and squeezing together my scalp. Weird. No, that's never mind. We're ignoring that part. That's just gross. So feel this really sharp pain from the numbing, and then wait a couple minutes. And when they put the staples in, I didn't feel any pain, but I felt this immense pressure, which I kind of mistook as pain at first. I was like, "Ow, wait, that didn't really hurt." And then there was 2 more of those, and I was like, this is really weird. This you're stapling my head." And so when that was done, obviously I couldn't immediately take a shower or anything, so my head was still literally covered in blood. I had like blood kind of like dripping down on my face and everything, and like it was like on my neck. Um, I don't know when exactly, but at some point I did have to get X-rays to check my neck. It wasn't broken. Good thing. Otherwise, that would have been even more of a problem. No, it was sprained. So I wasn't allowed to do anything for like the next week or so. Because not only did I have a head injury, I also had a neck injury. And like I said in my last video, I'm extremely athletic and active. And cross country was going to be starting soon. And I wasn't allowed to run at all. So here I am thinking, okay, how am I going to manage this? But funny because that was the biggest thing that I worried about. And then I don't know when exactly, but at some point I had my staples removed and I got to keep them. I actually still have them. I I don't know. They came out and I got to see them. I was like, oh, I expected them to be like bigger and everything because they're holding my scalp together in that one place. It's like okay, but yeah, I still have those. Is that weird? I think it's weird because it's been a couple years now. Anyways, so that's the story of when I defied gravity and hit my head on the bottom of a diving board.